Alrighty, all you players and playettes. This is the Popping Up on a Player edition with Mr. Tony the Bone. Is it Foster? It is Foster.
Absolutely.
Now, Tony has been around for eons, decades, a long, long time.
Very long.
I just became acquainted with him. Oh my God, his son! How are you, darling? And this is another reason why I do it, because anything can happen when you pop up on a plane.
In the middle of an interview.
In the middle of an interview, kiss me. Mwah, I love you. That's my sister
she
in
only
love.
giving out kisses to you?
That's my sister in love.
I know. I'm just playing.
So Tony's been around for quite some time.
Yep.
You've been a DJ since when?
So my very first gig was the fall of 1980. It was in the gym at Castech. And ironically, the young lady who's playing right now, Silly Girl Carmen, her dad, Tom Johnson, who is, that's just like a whole nother story. He set up the sound system for me from my very first gig. So that's how far back I go.
Was Todd ever a DJ, or was he just like the sound
Todd was
guy?
a promoter.
He was a
promoter.
So for those of you who may not know, Todd Johnson
he's a legend.
And he's tall.
He's like 6'4".
Yeah, he's pretty tall. But he is one of the engineers of Charivari.
Oh, absolutely.
So Steve Dunbar, rest in eternal peace,
yes,
Steve.
My main man.
And Todd were best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct in that?
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about how this thing started, because you were there in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So what I try to do with my Popping Up on a Player is I want people to know where all of this came from. There would be no movement without people like Tony the Bone, without promoters like Todd Johnson, without DJs and promoters like Steve Dunbar.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I have an actual legend with me.
I don't know if I'm a legend, y'all, but I am old.
Well, you look awesome. You said your first party was 1980?
1980, yeah.
I was still in elementary school.
Oh my God!
But I do distinctly remember in like 7th or 8th grade going to La Umo on 7 Mile. Not the original one, but the one on 7 Mile.
Oh my God. You know what's funny is that I love this younger generation that are like straight up house hits. They dance to anything, but they have no idea what we were doing when we were their age. You know what I'm saying? When you say La Umo, I'm talking like 4 in the morning. The most incredible sound system you ever want to hear. The most incredible DJs. I'm talking Ken Collier, Delano Smith, Al Esther. That's where it all started.
So what was it about Cass that made house?
Cass Tech was a major influence on house. But going back to your original question, where Charivari actually started was in Mumford High School, not Cass Tech. Daryl Shannon, Daryl Harvey, Chuck Halsey, Kenny Bryant, Greg Oldham, Raynard Hines. Those cats were Steve Dunbar were the guys who formed Charivari.
Okay.
And back in the day, Charivari was just a social club, and they threw gigs. And because and Daryl Shannon and Daryl Harvey were like the primary DJs for Charivari.
Okay.
So I was a DJ, obviously, 1980. I was at every gig there was, and I kind of just blended into the family.
Okay.
I was not an originator, but I was there when Charivari formed. They gave parties at legendary nightclubs, the Pub, Park Avenue Club, JD's, Studio 54, the Bonnybrook, and it goes on and on and on and on. To give you guys an idea of how incredible the scene was back then. When I was their age, these kids that are here now, we hung out 6 days a week. There was somewhere to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you know. And not just somewhere to go, like a straight up gig, like 6-7 days a week.
I do remember, because by the time I got into high school, of course I was able to go to the high school parties because my parents would at least allow that.
Right.
But outside of that, like I grew up around the corner from Todd Johnson and Steve Dunbar and never knew. The people I know now,
right.
I grew up around all of those people and never knew it.
Right.
So that leads me to my next question. Where do you see this thing going? This whole house music underground scene?
I think it's not really where it's going. It's never going to go away. Okay. House music is a genre that only certain people understand. But what's amazing is that I'm 57 years old, and
he looks awesome.
I love you too, Paula. I'm 57 years old. This is my vibe. It will be my vibe until I take my last breath. But every time I turn around, there are 23, 25, 27-year-olds just like gigging. What's interesting is what has changed is that there are more white kids that are coming out gigging the house. Like when we were coming up, you know, back in the late, it was all us. But now it's young white kids, and I love it. And I love it because as a DJ, when we're performing, at least my main goal is to get as many people out on the dance floor as possible and make them dance. With these kids, these 20-something-year-olds, you can play anything you want, and that is a dance. DJ's dream. It's a DJ's dream.
You know, I think I've always wanted to ask that question and never quite had gotten around to it, because when I do these interviews, they're pretty organic. So we just start flying off the cuff and just start talking about anything. So I have to thank you for that. Now, there is a question that I ask every DJ.
Yep.
You are not allowed to punk out. You are not allowed to say.
Now, why would you even think that would be an option?
When I ask you the question, you might be like, I need your top 5. You only get 5 DJs. House music genre. Any time frame.
Top 5.
And you only get 5.
Ken Collier. Do I have to name them in order? Or
No.
just?
No. Any order.
So not in order, but top 5. Ken Collier, Dwayne Montgomery, Delano Smith. That's 3, right?
That's 3.
Norm Talley.
My fave.
And my last one, number 5. That's a tough one.
Do you like you? Do you like you?
Can I pick me?
You can pick you.
The Bone.
Tony the Bone. You heard it here.
But I'm a modest guy. I have no ego.
But he does still have all his hair.
No, I don't. Are you kidding?
Well, it kind of looks like you still have all your hair. The mayor, how are you, sweetie?
My main man. What else you want to know? You haven't asked me a hard question yet. Now,
why did you leave DJing, and what brought you back to DJing? Because I can tell you, I was actually interviewing Paulie Cicero outside of Mix, and you had come down there, and I think you can even hear it on the vlog that I did with him. And you said, "I'm coming. I'll be back. I'm back in the DJ game." You said something. I'm paraphrasing, but you said something to that effect. And I have been hearing you ever since. And you are actually amazing.
Thank you.
You play to your crowd. You know exactly what makes them move. Mm-hmm. You give them what you want them to have. Mm-hmm. I've yet to hear you give them what they wanted. No, what you give them what they want. I've yet to hear you play what you want.
Right.
So why do
I do that?
Why do you do that?
So, I feel DJs are artists. At least I'm an artist. When I DJ, I don't look at it as a job. I look at it as I'm here to give a performance. However, I have a goal. That's to get as many people on the dance floor as possible and make them dance. Okay? So, depending on where I'm playing, that's going to determine what kind of music I play.
Gotcha.
Okay? If I'm playing with people close in my age, I know I have to play a lot of remixes, a lot of sing-along house music. Like, oh, I recognize that track, so I'm going to dance. Okay? But what they should be thinking, wow, I've never heard this before. If I'm playing what I really want to play, I've never heard this before, but the beat is banging. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But when your mind is like this instead of open, that's what you get.
So what I'm hearing you say is you would like for the older house heads to elevate and expand their minds and broaden their musical horizon.
Be more open. And now don't get me wrong, like I will play stuff that they recognize, but then I'll drop something brand new that I know they haven't heard. If I've got you on the floor, I can
keep you there and drop new heat.
Yeah.
So you do take chances every now and again.
Oh, yeah.
Contingent on the crowd that you do.
You got, it's all about reading your audience. Now if I'm playing out here, again, DJ's dream. I know I can play whatever the hell I want. And again, there's a meme that's been floating around for a while. Great DJs play not what you want to hear, what you need to hear.
That's one of my sayings. Yeah. So let's kind of circle back to the whole the white kids.
Okay.
Right now, I don't know how well you know me, but I'm not a real politically correct person. And I am a habitual line stepper. Do you feel that our music has been gentrified?
Hell
and
no.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
No, absolutely not. House music isn't made for one race, one religion, one whatever. Somebody asked me, what is house music? House music to me is a feeling.
It's a feeling.
It's a feeling. It's something that like grabs your soul. Like when I'm performing or if I'm like listening to